Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this latest version of Tales from Outer Space, where I take an HFY story from somewhere around the internet and read it aloud for your enjoyment. All the relevant links are down below. Like, subscribe, and all that YouTube comf to help this video and channel grow. Anyways, as always, I hope that you enjoy. I would just like to thank the following Tier 5 patrons and channel members for supporting the channel: FallenAngel, BuzzKillington, Datamagnet, and Bob the Dragon. Thank you again. And now, on to the story. Story number 1. Humanities' Iron Stomach, written by the Mad Crafter. Clan leader Yondarn, I'm returning to the homeworld. The summit proved to be, in most respects, as profitable as we expected. The High Earl have agreed to our trade concessions, and the Silva Emporium is withdrawing from the Orion Compact. And the Lowland are still a bunch of interbred fornicating half-wits. Where the summit proved to be infinitely more profitable was making contact with a recent addition to the political landscape. During the second evening of the conference, an Lbry ambassador was arrested when they were charged with attempted poison of a delegate from a species called human, who recently won a small war between two species. According to rumors, the Lbry had slipped enough capsaicin into the delegate's meal to kill a fully mature Jandari bog elephant. Naturally, when the delegates returned, very much alive, he was enraged and confused. The Aldebaran ended up confessing in front of the entire summit when he went in a tirade about, "What does it take to kill you people?" Now, as you know, the Kuthna ambassador and I attended Fleet Academy together, and have been blood sworn to each other for more than once. So, naturally, when we heard about this, we had to investigate. We invited the human to a cultural exchange dinner in order to make the newcomer feel more welcome, and so we could observe. Clan leader, after our observation and further research, I cannot emphasize enough how much this species terrifies me. George, the human delegate, joined us in my quarters shortly after delivery of his people's ethnic cuisines. Humans are, apparently, omnivores, able to nourish themselves from both flora and fauna. Being that the species evolved in a death world, this is hardly surprising. After exchanging pleasantries and sampling several courses, the Kithna opted to make the first move and inquired about the attempted assassination. To quote the human directly, "Oh yeah, at first I thought the chef messed up. 'Cause, oh boy, that was that spicy. But then I found out the dumbass squidhead had spiked my meal thinking it would kill me. Still laughing about it. I eat hotter stuff all the time. It turns out capsaicin occurs on their planet naturally, and humans ingest amounts that would constitute a war crime in most territories. Intrigued, we produced a list of fairly common poisonous compounds, asking him if any looked familiar. What followed left us in awe. Let's see here. Sodium chloride is a seasoning. Moxidane covers 70% of our planet, and our chemical makeup is like 80%. Oh, and we drink it. And we drink ethanol for recreation. The list went on and on. George clearly could see that we were having a hard time believing him, so he produced a flask of liquid and a chemical analyzer. Apparently, this was common for them. After taking a small sample with George's analyzer, my own and one we procured from a nearby lab, we confirmed that the substance was nearly 88% ethanol. George then promptly poured a truly horrifying amount into a glass and drank it all. The rest of the evening was spent, as George described it, playing Feed It to the Human, since the shocking realization of their resilience is so common that their species sees it as some sort of game. I'm attaching a full bioscan and a database on them and their culture, but needless to say, the amount of toxins I watched him ingest, along with the sheer amount of ethanol he drank freely the entire time, would be sufficient to kill several modestly sized moon colonies. Sure enough, the following day, George was still alive, but complaining of what he called a 4-alarm hangover. I advised the clans to immediately establish formal diplomatic ties and enter into a mutual defense treaty as soon as possible. Simply put, if humans' ability to consume and survive some of the most powerful known toxins doesn't concern you, then I advise you to look at page 241 of the attached and note the naturally evolved gland they possess that secretes a known illegal combat drug directly into their bloodstream. Get them on our side. Now, sincerely, Kath Katunga, ambassador to the Krokax hordes. End of story. Story number 2. Dogfighting 101, written by Menegator. We, the Zynthians, due to our avian origin, pride ourselves that in starfighting warfare we had no match. And for many millennia, that was the undisputed truth. We had the best space fighters and the best pilots. Though there are several species also avian in origin, we were the kings. And our kingdoms were crushed by ground pounders. The galaxy is a peaceful place in general. Resources are abundant and space is huge. There is no real reason in fighting for resources. Warfare is costly, and if a star system belongs to someone else, there are several billions of others to choose from. This doesn't mean that there aren't small, minor, or even major skirmishes, but escalating to full-scale war is something very rare. There were no major wars for tens of thousands of years. Usually, this is where the Galactic Council intervenes, and if peaceful resolution cannot be made, then a battle is scheduled, and to the winners go the spoils. Humans were a new species, new being a relative term because technologically speaking, they were above the average. It just took them too long to discover a method of FTL. Their spaceships were slightly below average in terms of maneuverability and armor, slightly above average in firepower, but damn, their computer science and AIs were and still are unmatched. This made them very rich, very quick, because there is no civilization that doesn't use computers, and the computers were still and are plainly and simply the best there is. Till their appearance, we were the ones having the best computers, and the financial impact was severe to our industry. Of course, sort of exterminating them, and exterminating a species is something not allowed even if it were possible. We could do nothing in the matter. The JK-A32T1 star system was discovered by us, but we didn't claim it. It has a habitable planet, but its gravity was beyond what we could cope with as a species. Humans, on the other hand, found the system very much to their liking, since it hosted an impressive habitable super-Earth, an even more impressive asteroid belt, and 2 large gas giants that cleared everything else except the moons. The super-Earth and its 2 moons in the system. They could cope with the more than double than their standard gravity, and the planet was very rich in metals. In retrospect, their tolerance of an environment that its gravity could get us should have set off alarms about their abilities in space fighting, but we were lulled by the maneuverability and speed of the capital ships. Not to mention that being ground pounders, their spatial awareness was way lower than ours. All space battles depend on 5 things: maneuverability, speed, spatial awareness, armor, and firepower. And for each and every species, there are physical limits for everything. Since there is no such thing as inertia dampeners or armor that can withstand everything, we have proven again and again that we were the best. We challenged their claim even though we could not use the habitable planet. They counter-offered that we keep the rest of the star system with its very rich asteroid belt, and they keep the habitable planet and its 2 inhabitable moons. We didn't need the system. We were just being petty for their better computers, and we rejected the offer. We wished for the ceremonious battle, and by gods, we got what we wished for. In that battle, we saw for the first time a part of their true war fleet. They were just 3 big, ugly box-like ships, over 3 kilometers long each. No battleship, no cruiser, just 3 ships, and the best description is a mobile hangar. And when the doors of those hangars opened, hell followed with it. Thousands upon thousands of small space fighters accelerated with unfathomable for living organisms speed pace. Humans didn't need space pilots. Humans didn't need battleships and battle cruisers. They have only one type of warship, a huge mobile hangar, protected by a very thick armor and point defense spread all over her hull, generating a wall of fire that made them unapproachable at short distances. A huge mobile hangar that hosted tens of thousands of computer-piloted small, highly maneuverable and all-access spacecrafts that could accelerate like missiles. Their acceleration and deacceleration abilities limited only by the power generation and the physical stress limits of the materials that they were made from. They ignored completely the fighters and the bombers. They went straight for our capital ships, and we have no point defense nor armor that could withstand an attack from 30,000 craft. We yielded after discovering the hard way that the wall of fire generated by their point defense made them immune even to our best missiles. Only railguns that could fire projectiles at relativistic speeds could stand a chance. But there is no such thing. We yielded because, ceremonial or no, this was getting to be a one-sided massacre, and even worse, for a star system that we didn't actually want in the first place. We had better space fighters, better pilots, better weapons, better armor, but at the end, the only thing that really mattered was who had the better computers. End of story. And that, my friends, concludes this video. I hope that you enjoyed, and if you do, please consider supporting the author, even by popping over and leaving a thumbs up or a nice comment, just to show your appreciation for the story. However, if you wish to support this channel, there are links down below which will help immensely. I will see you all in the next one, and until then, I hope that you have a fantastic day. Cheers.